Okay, well, let's. So Ming Shuo,
Um, yeah.
you're up.
Hi everyone. Welcome to this amazing Tigertales Toastmaster meeting. And now let's welcome our Toastmaster, Katie.
Thank you for that. Oh, I realized you are clap master, Xavier. So you are double dutying tonight. Thank you so much. And tonight, our theme is going to be solidarity. And our word of the day, our grammarian will share with us soon. But solidarity, I wanted to share about some of the ways that I've seen solidarity come through. Today, I would say the weather and I had some good solidarity. I loved the warmer weather, being able to almost put my window down. I didn't do it, but I should have. But being able to walk out there a bit was quite nice. Sports teams I was on in the past, I was a swimmer, I was on the track team, and we had a lot of solidarity in our events that we were in together. So tonight I've asked many of our speakers, we have some prepared speeches, 3 of them tonight. I've asked them a question regarding solidarity that they've had between others that I will share their responses about. And then we have some table topics tonight. And before we begin, I'm going to introduce our functionaries for this evening that will help us go through this evening more prepared. Our first is going to be, we'll jump in, we'll do our grammarian first tonight, who is Christine. Christine, if you could explain your role for us tonight.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, as grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. I created a little video, but it's not working unless my face doesn't show. For today's meeting, the word is hearten, most commonly used as heartened. This is a verb, which means to cause someone to feel more cheerful or hopeful. I have 2 examples of using this word. The first one is the team's victory has heartened its fans. And the second is we were heartened by the sight of a familiar farmhouse. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Christine. Our next functionary that I'd like to introduce is our counter, Preetam.
Hello everyone, I am going to be the counter sitting in the corner right here. My role is going to be watching out for the filler words people tend to use. The filler words are so, and these are filler words that not only people use when trying to fill silence, but sometimes people use filler words repeatedly, like at the beginning of the sentence, people tend to use and multiple times to begin a sentence. So I'll be watching out for those and giving you a report on the filler words I heard at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Kelly.
Thank you for that, Preetam. And our next functionary tonight, our timer, Ajita, unfortunately couldn't make it. So our last minute rescue team member came in, Xavier, who was, again, also our clap master. But if you could explain your role of timer to us, Xavier.
Yes, I am the timer tonight as well. I will be keeping track of time for all the speeches and the meeting as a whole. All the speeches are 5 to 7 minutes tonight, so green card for 5. I'll hold it up nice and close for you. 6 for yellow, 7 for red, 30 seconds to wrap up. There's timing for table topics as well, and I'll get to it when we get there.
Thank you so much. I'm impressed you had the Post-its ready and available. A good example to us all to be ready to jump in. And speaking of which, I would like to begin our prepared speeches section of the meeting tonight. Our first speaker is going to be Ruchi, and her evaluator is going to be Hassan. Roberta could not make it tonight, so another person that jumped in tonight was Hassan to evaluate Ruchi. So Hassan, if you could explain to us what we'll be looking for, or you'll be looking for in Ruchi's speech tonight.
Thank you, Kelly. Ruchi is working on her second project of the Pathway Dynamic Leadership. And the project is about feedback, evaluation and feedback. So the purpose of the project is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. It's a 5 to 7 minutes speech, and I look forward to it.
Thank you, Hassan. So I asked Ruchi, as well as our other speakers tonight, can you tell me when you have felt the most solidarity with another person or people in your life? Her response is that the most solidarity that she recently felt was with Mark Mathabane, author of a book, Kaffir Boy, I hope I said that correctly. In that book, he wrote down his journey of growing up in the apartheid world of South Africa. And now he has made it over the US as a tennis player against all odds. Really exciting to be able to hear her speech again tonight. And the title of Ruchi's speech is, just a moment, she told me it. Where is it? Something about trust. Can you remind me what it is? I'm so sorry.
Trust them anyway.
Trust them anyway. Trust them anyway, Ruchi. Trust them anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Never trust anyone completely. Even if you do, always have a little bit of doubt. Why? Because people are out to take advantage of you, to leverage on your weakness. Miss Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guests. These were the thought processes I grew up with in a city called Delhi. Now, these were not entirely wrong, given the amount of criminal activity going on in the capital of the country at the time. However, when generalized, these thought processes impaired my ability to connect, to relate, and to deepen my relationship with anyone who I would meet. Fortunately, that didn't stay the same way for a long time because of the people that came into my life and taught me the fundamentals of trust. The first person who showed trust in me was my high school science tutor, Jenna Sir. He didn't just teach me, but my sister and my brother. So he was technically our family tutor. Every school day from Monday through Saturdays, we would go after school, a very long day in school. We would go after that to the tuition center and see him with a book in his one hand and a pen in another hand and greeting us with a broad smile. Good morning at 4 p.m. in the evening. That kept us going throughout the year until my mother told me that she would not be able to pay the fee for my tutor for the rest of the year that was left. I was too embarrassed to go up to my tutor and tell him, "Sir, my mother doesn't have the money to pay your fees." Fortunately, I did, because when I said that to him, he said, "It's okay, Ruchi. Don't worry about it. You just focus on your education." In that moment, he told me, he taught me why I needed to trust him. Because if not for that moment, I would have let shame overpower my education and my career. After that, I was able to keep working hard, inspired by my teacher, and pass with flying colors. I was able to secure a scholarship and pay the amount back that I owed him. However, can I ever repay the love, the compassion, the trust, the time that he put into me? Probably never. But it led me to become more grateful. Moving on to college, it was not entirely uneventful. But the most impactful events that happened after my high school were when I went to a place called Rajasthan, a district Churu, the block Ratangarh. I joined a NGO where we had two tasks. The second task was to work in 5 different schools of 5 different villages and improve the education in those areas. But the first task was to find a home in one of the villages that were assigned to us individually. Because we were working in schools, our first contact were children. We went to school every day the month prior to what was called village immersion and started getting to know them, getting to create those relationships. And as I was figuring out how to connect with strangers, I met this beautiful woman. Her name was Neetu, and she was a student in 7th grade at that time. And she showed me how I can trust her by giving me a place in her heart. She invited me to her home, knowing of my dilemma, introduced me to her family. And I realized that all of her family has the same humongous heart as Neetu. They gave me space in not just their hearts, but also in their homes, and made me a part of their family. Whenever in Rajasthan I would get homesick, I was able to, fortunately, take a bus or a train and go back home to visit my family or meet a friend. This time I was going to meet a friend, and I boarded a bus with several other passengers who I thought were going to Delhi along with me. Because there were several passengers, the bus was pretty full. I got a seat and I started taking a nap. As soon as I opened my eyes, I looked around, only to find out that there was one more passenger besides me, and that he was getting ready to get off at the next stop. Everything that I had learned up until now resurfaced again, and a cold shiver went from my head to toe. I looked at the conductor with my big, wide frog eyes. And that's when he looked at me, came up to me and said, "Madam, because you're a woman, we are going up to the final destination. If not for that, we would have just asked you to get off here so that we can take some rest." I thank all the spirits around me and their families, the families of conductor and driver, who raised them to be such gentlemen. They didn't just drop me to the bus terminal, but also waited with me until my friend came and picked me up safely. My teacher taught me why to trust. Neetu and her family showed me how I can trust. But the people in the bus, the conductor and the driver, they showed me that humans, in fact, are worthy of our trust. Next time you meet someone you're unable to trust, trust them anyway. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ruchi, for that wonderful speech and the reminder to trust. We're going to take 1 minute to send Ruchi some messages and some feedback about her speech. If you go onto the Zoom group chat and reply to her, and Preetham's on there as well, you can send her a love message. So Xavier, if you could give us the time and let me know when 1 minute is up, please.
That's a minute.
Thank you. Our next speaker for tonight is going to be Bhakti, and our evaluator for Bhakti is going to be Alex. Alex, if you could take a moment and share with us what we'll be looking for in Bhakti's speech tonight. Alex?
So Bhakti is sharing her contest speech with us again tonight. So I'll be looking with the contest ballot in mind as I evaluate her speech. Madam Toastmaster.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Alex. And we'll make sure we give some good feedback so Bhakti can be prepared for this contest. I asked her the question as well about solidarity with another person in her life or people in her life. She said that once she was bullied by a girl in front of an examiner while she was having an interview, and most of her classmates came out to support her. This was when she knew, or she was still new to college life, and she did not expect people she didn't know to support her. So seeing everyone standing in solidarity definitely increased her confidence and has made her be less judgmental about people than before. Another powerful way to see solidarity at work. And the title of Bhakti's speech is My Secret to Making Best Friends. My Secret to Making Best Friends, Bhakti.
I am the one. Indian parents usually want their kids to be a doctor or an engineer. That is such a stereotypical quote, but it's true. At least it applied to my mother. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. After I was done with my 10th grade, which happens to be the end of schooling year in India, I was ready to join a junior college. To enter one, you need to select one of three streams: science, commerce, or arts. To be a doctor or an engineer, you choose the science stream, which is considered the toughest, gruesome, most soul-crushing stream of them all. I had no clue what to do in life. So to please everyone, I decided to be an engineer. What engineer, you might ask? Who knows? With all this stress and confusion, I entered Thomas Baptista Junior College. Now this college still made us wear uniforms, which resembled the uniforms of prison inmates in India. I wore that god awful piece of clothing and went for day one. As soon as I reached my college, I realized many of my schoolmates back from school were in the same college. And I was excited because it already felt as if I never left my school. But as soon as I reached my classroom, I realized there is only one person I know in the entire classroom. Her name was Tina. And I hated this girl in high school. What are the odds? To top that off, I made a new friend that week. She would sit next to me, and every lecture with her would be like, "Hey Bhakti, what is he writing on the board? Are you getting any of this? Wait, how did he come to this conclusion? Did he say he's giving a homework today?" I could barely hear what the professor had to say with this annoying voice right next to me. I was already regretting my choices and going home, dejected. I continued to live like this for a month. Now, one particular day, there was some miscommunication, and most of the students didn't show up for class. That girl with that annoying voice was absent. Finally, I could breathe and hear what the professor had to say. When the professor said, "Nobody's sitting alone, everyone move to the front seat," he made me sit next to this girl named Sitara, who happened to be friends with Tina. I had decided I'm not talking to this girl, and as soon as the lecture is done, I'm going right back to my seat. But Sitara was an extrovert, so she started a conversation with me, and I couldn't help but converse back. Talking to her felt natural, even though my brain was continuously reminding me that she is an enemy and we are at war. I ended up spending the entire day sitting next to her. And that day, I went home puzzled. But the next day, it was back to normal. And a teeny, tiny, tiny part of me wished she was sitting right next to me. Another month passes by, and now our class has a new class advisor. On her first day, she tells us, I am pretty sure you guys are very comfortable sitting where you are, but I am changing everybody's seat, especially nobody sitting next to the same person right now. I want all the girls sitting in the last row, and boys can occupy the rest. Boys occupied 5 rows in our boys occupied 5 rows in our college, and girls occupied just one. Yep, we had a lot of boys. But as soon as we were filling up the girls' row, we quickly realized that it was falling short for two girls. So the teacher made me sit on the first bench of a boys' row. I didn't understand this because I was the tallest girl in the class. And when I looked behind me, these boys were the size of a nugget. She then proceeded to ask if any girl was comfortable sitting next to me, especially in a boys' row. She didn't ask me that question. Sitara quickly volunteered. And as soon as she sat next to me, the first thing she said was, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to sit next to Tina." Wait, what did you just say? "Oh, I know that you two know each other, but please could you not snitch on me? I'm really tired of that girl." I was dumbfounded, but we continued to state the reasons on why we hated her. The boys sitting behind us also joined in the conversation. How is this possible? I thought Tina was the most popular girl in the class. That day, I went home with the biggest smile on my face, so big that my mom thought that a guy asked me out on a date. For the next 2 years, I continued sitting with Sitara on a boys' row, and we became best friends. I'm sorry, we are still best friends. What was supposed to be the most toughest, gruesome, soul crushing phase of my life turned out to be the best 2 years of my life. There is a famous quote: "Don't judge a book by its cover." I say it depends on how the book crossed your path. Even today, when I make a new friend And after 3 months or so, I realized, wasn't it funny how we became friends? Wait a minute, are you going to be my new best friend? As ridiculous as it sounds, these are the people that I still talk to. So if I had a weird encounter with any one of you, I think we are off to a good start. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bhakti. You are ready for the contest. If we could have 1 minute, please, Xavier, on our timing to give Bhakti some feedback.
Time's up.
Thank you, Xavier. Our final
You're muted, Kelly.
Thank you, sorry. Our final speaker tonight will be Destin, and evaluating him will be Mingshuo. Mingshuo, if you could let us know what you'll be looking for in Destin's speech.
Thank you. And Destin is working on innovative pathway, and he want me to watch out for the usage of language, the body language, and the vocal variety. I really look forward to his speech tonight. Yeah, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mingshuo. And Destin's answer to the question about telling us where he's felt the most solidarity with another person or people in his life was that he felt the most solidarity with his brother and his sister. Despite the fact that we are in 3 different countries, we are always there for each other. That is amazing. And tonight, Destin's speech is titled Learning English. Learning English, Destin.
Let's go! How many of you speak more than one language? Or at least, how many of you have tried to learn another language? What was that experience like? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Was it funny or boring? Okay, I understand that your experience might vary depending on what is your primary language and what is the language you are trying to learn. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Tonight, I'd like to share with you my experience on learning English. I will share with you 2 facts that I find interesting and 1 lesson that I learned throughout the process. I was tricked into learning English. And when I say I was tricked, I don't mean that I was lured to learn English. What I mean is I thought that it would be easy for me to learn English because of my primary language. As you may all know, I am a native French speaker, and English and French share a lot in common. starting with the alphabet. They have the exact same 26 letters in the exact same order. So I thought, I just have to learn how to pronounce these letters in English, and that's it. I will be speaking English. Boy, was I wrong. And it didn't take me too long before I was proven wrong. Quick backstory. When we learn to speak French, when we learn to read, we start with the vowels. I, U, O, A, E. And the E vowel has 3 accentuated variants, A, E. So I realized that my E became I. My A became A, and my E became E. Okay, that part is easy. Then we learn the consonants. B, C, D. B, C, D. Okay, that's easy. Then come the syllables. For syllables, the teacher will use syllables tree. For example, the B syllables. B, E, I, B. B, E, U, bu. Here's the thing. In French, when you learn syllables, the sound of the syllables remain the same regardless of the word they are in, which is not always the case in English. For example, the letter A sounds like the French A in can, car, and cat. But the same letter sounds like the English A in cake, shake, and bake. Thank you, English. Second fact, quick backstory again. When I was learning French, I had a lot of trouble with 2 letters, V and F. I would always switch those 2 letters around. So for example, the word video, I would say fideo. The word faith, I would say veith. And it took me a lot of time to really make the difference between those 2 letters. And I don't tell you the mess when I met those 2 letters in the same word. That was terrible. Then came English. One of the sounds that I had the most trouble with is the sound the, TH. To me, it sounded like the natural V, like in French. But my speaking teacher made that clear to me that it's not the same. I have to put my tongue between my teeth. Otherwise, English speakers wouldn't really understand what I'm saying. So I had to practice that sound again and again and again. The. Up until the time I learned that there are some words where the sound V actually sound like F. The same problem again. Ordinal numbers. Who invented them? You have 6th, 10th, 20th. Why the same sound keep on changing? But here's what I learned. Practice makes perfect. And with languages, you either you use it or you lose it. And by practice makes perfect, I mean, put yourself in an environment that is conducive to learning. I was blessed because back home, there are a lot of English clubs everywhere. And I felt an amazing solidarity in my English club. And I was heartened by how people would come to me and help me with my issues. Keep on practicing also means not being afraid of making mistakes. not being timid. Because this is one of the main obstacles that prevents people from making progress. And lastly, by keep on practicing, I mean never giving up. I don't know what is the language you had the most trouble with, but you definitely shouldn't give up learning it because it is always rewarding. And I think that learning another language is one of the most beautiful things that a person can do throughout their life. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Destin. Wow, what a journey. If we could take 1 minute and
Kelly, you muted
sorry,
yourself.
I'm muted again. I just realized it. 1 minute, please, Xavier, please, for feedback for Destin. Wow, what a journey.
And that's a minute.
Thank you. That concludes our prepared speeches for this evening, and we'll have a chance to hear their evaluations after our next portion of the meeting, which is going to be table topics. And to lead our table topic section tonight is going to be Sarah. I asked Sarah when she felt the most solidarity with another person or people in her life. She responded, most recently, she felt solidarity with her fellow staff at work as we mourned and said goodbye to our student who lost his battle with cancer over the winter break. Sarah, if you could begin this section of the meeting as Table Topics Master.
Absolutely. Let me just go back to gallery view. Okay. Table topics is always an exciting part of the meeting. I say always. It is not exciting when no one volunteers. So we are going to have volunteers. Before we get into the actual table topics questions, there are a few rules that shape the fun of table topics, as Monica would say in Friends. First, I would love to hear from our impromptu timer, who I no longer see on my screen. Oh, I'm looking at their table instead. Well, Xavier, if you're still there, can you please share the timing rules for table topics?
Sure. Just got back. All right. For table topics, 1 minute, green card, 1.5 for yellow, 2 minutes is red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. And that's me.
Thank you, Xavier. Also helping us along the way with our impromptu table topics is our grammarian, who is Christine today. Christine, can you please remind everyone of the word of the day and its importance in table topics?
So the word of the day is hearten. See it on the top of my screen, or you should. Did it show up? Maybe not. Oh, it's not coming up. Well, that's upsetting. It's most commonly used as heartened. It is a verb, and its meaning is to cause someone to feel more cheerful or hopeful. Example sentence, the team's victory has heartened its fans.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. Just a reminder, anyone can participate in table topics. If you have a role, if you are a guest, if you're stuck in the dark because your kid turned the lights off, you're allowed to answer table topics. And the more volunteers there are, the more heartened I will become. Our table topics questions, as you may have guessed, I know they don't have to be, but they are in line with theme of the day. So if you get your solidarity / hearten juices flowing in your brain, then you may feel more confident to answer any of the questions that I have. At this point, let's see who is interested in answering a table topics question. Do we have any volunteers yet? Fantastic. Your name on the screen right now is iPhone Sam. I know that's not your name because no one is named
No.
iPhone Sam.
It is actually.
Your name's iPhone Sam?
I'm kidding, no. But just go with Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, would you be so kind as to choose a number between 1 and 5?
4.
4. That was not your table topic question, just clarifying. Here is your table topic question, though you did choose a great number. What group are you a part of that you feel has the strongest sense of solidarity or support for one another? What group are you a part of now that you feel has the strongest sense of solidarity or support for one another? Take it away, Sam.
Thank you. Does family count? That is a question.
Of
or
course it
can I
does.
just take it wherever I want?
Any group you want. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I would say the group I have created with my brother and my sister. We lost our father in 2011, and I should add my mother to that because I think that brought us closer together as a unit. When you're a family, you tend to take for granted the relationships you have with each other. And when everything is going well, you often don't reflect on how strong your bonds are and what you need to do to keep supporting each other and to keep each other abreast of what is happening in your lives individually and how you can make all of that work together for the benefit of everyone. And so after our father passed away, it was a light bulb moment, I think, that was not even conscious. We just kind of sort of came together in a way that I had not always thought about or was not, it didn't occur to me that we would get to this point. That is what I'm trying to say. And so that is the group that I feel is most supportive and offers me the most solidarity when I think about life and what challenges I am yet to face and that I have faced. And it has heartened me so much that we grow and we encourage each other and we support each other, and yet we are still able to challenge each other on the things that we do, on the things that we say, and on the thoughts that we have, because we have recognized that although we are in solidarity with each other, it doesn't mean we stop calling each other out and advising each other and questioning each other. And so that is sort of the relationship we've come to. We even question our mother. So it just goes around and it's a beautiful thing to be a part of and to witness when I'm looking at it sort of like as an outsider. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Sorry for your loss, but I'm grateful that you have folks around you, family to support you. Let me get back into the gallery view. And who would like to volunteer next? Oh, Hadija. Fantastic. You get to choose a number between 1 and 4 as well. Again, not your table topic, preliminary question.
I'll take 2.
Fantastic. Here is your question. When have you supported someone who needed help, and how did that impact you? When have you supported someone who needed help, and how did that impact you?
That is a very, very interesting question because I feel like currently, especially in the year 2020, I've been doing that a lot. I've been spending my energy and my time supporting the friends that I have around me because I had most of them that were living in like very hard situations. My best friend actually, she stayed on campus by herself and she was just there. So she always needed someone to stay on the phone with her. And I will tell you that I was on the phone with that girl 24/7. And it always heartened me every single time I'll see her laugh because I know how depressing it was to just stay by yourself. And I think, yeah, 2020 was a time that a lot of people needed support. And then I guess I was just the person that was just there to give. And now I'm here. I would say I'm worn out. I'm tired and I just need to relax. And maybe anybody wants to give me support. I need the support and I need the attention. And I just need it all. I need it all now. So yeah. It also had to me if anybody wants to give me support, you know. If you give me support. So yeah. Thank you.
I think we need extra applause just to give her some extra support right now, since she's straight up asked for it. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Let's find at least one more volunteer. Oh, thanks, Preetam. I was just going to tell you all that sometimes we have to wait 2 full minutes for a response from our students. So I have no problem sitting around and waiting for people to answer me. Freedom. You get no choices. I'm choosing your question for you because there are 3 questions left and there's one that I would like to hear from you. I know that's not fair, but I'm in charge of table topics, so I get to do whatever I want. Freedom. What is one way you think you could grow in supporting others, and how are you going to get there? What is one way that you think you could grow in supporting others, and how are you going to get there?
That is a very tough question. Thank you, Sarah, for putting me in that position to answer that. I think I don't support others very well at all. I receive a lot of support. The only way I know how to support people is to do things for them. If somebody needs grocery done, I will do your groceries. If somebody needs someone to listen to, I will be there to listen to you. I think that is the way I know how to support people. But there are also other ways. I have especially the things I get from my mentors, which is they teach me and coach me in new concepts, new principles, and point out the areas where I can grow. Those are areas I don't do well. I don't go out and tell people, do you want to grow here? Maybe you can learn something new. I don't really intentionally do any of that. I am just a very passive supporter, not an active supporter of people. When I see that kind of support coming from my mentors and teachers, it heartens me to see that how much they're investing in growing me. They're thinking about me and actively taking interest in my growth. I have never done that. I want to do that. And your question is a good thinking point for me, that maybe today is the day that I need to start thinking about that. I don't see the timer. Let me see if I, okay, where is, maybe I am over 1 minute. So I will give it over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Preetam. That is the end of our table topics portion. Before I hand it back to Toastmaster, I would like to check with our timer. Was everyone within the allotted time today?
We had some close calls, but everyone was there.
Yes. Okay, I had my fingers crossed. And Christine, did everyone use the word of the day, and did they use it correctly?
They did. All our table topic speakers used our word of the day, including you, Sarah, so thank you.
Oh, anytime. All right, I'm glad to hear that. We don't have a chitra, but I am hopeful that someone else was paying attention to Ajita's presentation and learned how to do polls. They did. Fantastic. Well, we had 3 speakers tonight. 1 is Sam, 2 is Hadija, and 3 is Preetam. Cast your vote now. If you cast for 4, 5, or 6, it does not get you a chocolate. Vote for someone who spoke, please. Fantastic. Now that I have the voting thing off my screen, I have a clear mind to hand the meeting back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sarah, for that heartening section of our meeting tonight. And next, we will move on to our evaluation section of the meeting, which is going to be led by our one and only Sridhar. I asked Sridhar the same question about where he's felt the most solidarity with another person or people in his life. He said during his school days, he had a group of friends on the street that he used to live on. They did a lot of playing and fun activities together, and that's when he felt the most solidarity. He said they were in complete agreement on whatever they decided to do. I love it. I love all the variety of ways that people find solidarity, and that they've shared that today. Sridhar, if you could jump in and begin our next portion of the meeting on evaluations. Sridhar.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. So today, we are going to, in this section, we are going to go through the feedback for all the speakers that spoke today. That's 3 speakers, and then I'm going to call for a functionary report. I'm audible, right? And finally, I'll give my feedback for the overall meeting. So to start with, we'll start with the evaluators for the speakers today. And for the first speaker, it's Ruchi, and evaluating Ruchi was, it's not Roberta, right?
Hassan.
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 Okay, because I'm looking at the I'm looking online on the Gmail. Oh, sorry. Okay, Hassan. So Hassan, can you please?
Thank you, Sridhar.
Can you please go ahead and give feedback for Ruchi? Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Hello, everybody. Especially hello, Ruchi. speech. I would like to start with the introduction. You started with the sentence, never trust anybody. And by saying that, you caught my attention. And you kept my attention with your storytelling skills, because for me, it was like watching a movie, starting in a family when you are young, going to high school, and moving also from New Delhi to Rajasthan. And by the way, I really like the way that you are showing on your background the two cities, New Delhi and Rajasthan, because not everybody knows where the cities are. So it was helpful for me to understand that New Delhi is not that far from Rajasthan, and you could travel by train or bus. And as I said, it was like a movie with many characters, especially your friend Nitu, and also your teacher, the bus driver, and many other people in this story. What I also like in your speech is, beside your storytelling skills, there were also you told the story, especially with the facial expressions, like the frog eyes, and also the way you use your space, because you weren't static and you were moving around, and also using your gestures. This is really important when you are telling a story. Facial expression, gesture, and body language, I mean, in general. And I also like the fact you had also a good use of English. There was a sentence that I really liked, which was, "She gave me a place in her heart." Probably Christine also loved that sentence. And then what I like the most is also the message in your speech, to trust people, and you ended with that. Because you showed us that in your speech you were able to question something you were told when you were young, and then you trusted people and you really like it, and that's where you ended by telling us to also trust people anyway. That was a powerful message I really liked. So what you can improve from in your speech, I would say next time probably try to work more on vocal variety, because you had some characters I would say in your story, like your teacher in high school and also the conductor. When you were impersonating these people, we couldn't tell there was a difference in the voice. So try to work more on that, so that when you are telling a story, when impersonating someone, we know it's someone else, it's not you. That's what I can say. The speech was awesome. I really like it, and I look forward for the next one.
Thank you, Hassan, for the feedback. Next, sorry, I forgot to call for the timing rules that are needed for the evaluator. Xavier, can you please explain us the timing rules for the evaluation? Thank you.
Just for you, Sridhar, I got you. Evaluators have 2 to 3 minutes. I will hold up the green card at 2 minutes, 2:30, the yellow card, and 3 minutes, the red card, which means you have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Thank you, Xavier. So let's move on to the next evaluation. And the second speaker for tonight was Bhakti, and evaluating Bhakti is Alex. Alex, can you give us a feedback for Bhakti's speech? Thank you.
It was kind of amusing. Yes, it was rather funny. It was incredibly funny. I loved it. Hilarious.
Xavier's having a lot of fun being the club master tonight. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and most this a one the books that I've read speech is measured each minute. It's unstable. Hopefully you can hear me. And had a clear message wrapped into it, and that was really great. Apparently I'm breaking up a lot. I want to talk about a few things that you did very well and thing that you can do each to the next level. The first thing that you did was vocal variety. We're an enemy, that she's an enemy, and we're at war. I'm breaking up a lot. Heck, man. And in your gestures, you had your hand motions, but my favorite gesture of all was when you were sitting in the front row and you looked back and down at that tiny little nugget back there. It was just the funniest little nuance that lets us know that you're living out the story right in front of us, that you have placed everything in your environment around you, which is an excellent tool as you're storytelling. So you had lots of humor, you had great vocal variety. It's such an original story with such a clear theme and message. And that's where your biggest opportunity is, to make that message even clearer. That when you have that your conclusion wrapped around this message of don't judge a book by its cover. And you said something like, well, it depends on how the book crossed your path. And I wasn't quite sure what you meant until you make it clearer when you say, and this is a great closing line, if we had a weird encounter, we're off to a pretty good start. That is a fantastic ending to your speech. And so to take that theme of a weird or an awkward encounter and to weave that in throughout your speech, to say how on that first day of school, you had this weird encounter of you showed up in, or an awkward encounter where you showed up in the uniform and everyone else was wearing their street clothes. Or another weird encounter where everyone gets shuffled around and you're the only two that are stuck in the boys' row. That those weird encounters helps us to build up to your conclusion where you say, if we had a weird encounter, and that leaning in is another great gesture, then we're off to a great start. It's a fantastic message wrapped in lots of great humor and vocal variety. Just weaving in those last points is what'll take it to the next level. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Alex, for the wonderful feedback. And let's move on to the next evaluation. It's the third speaker was Destin, and evaluating Destin is Ming-Shou. Ming-Shou, can you please give us a feedback for Destin?
The man! The myth! The legend!
Thank you, General Manager, and thank you, Xavier. Hi, Destin. It's a very enjoyable and wonderful speech. First, I found your structure was very good, very strong, extremely strong. I should not use very. You started with a question: how many people had learned another language from their primary language? This question is not only just make your speech more engaging, and also can lead to the empathy from audience, give you a strong foundation of your speech, because almost everyone have learned a second language. And also you have a good body language. You move your hands with your speaking rhythm. And maybe you can adjust your camera, make it lower so we can see the whole body of your movement. Also, I found you felt much more confident tonight. You used fewer filler words. Also, you have a great vocal variety. When you talk about your learning story, the vocal variety perfectly shows your learning process. Like, I thought learning English would be very, very easy because French is similar to English in a lot of aspects. But then I thought but then I found I was wrong. I think it's a very interesting combination. I really love it. Also, I love your conclusion. Practice makes perfect. This strong conclusion put your speech to a higher place. I really enjoy this conclusion. Also, your story was ending, in my mind, was ending a little bit too quickly. Maybe you can try to put more transition before the conclusion, make your speech more smoother. Overall, I really like your speech, and I think it's a wonderful and very enjoyable speech. Also, you made a great progress tonight. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you, Miksha, for your evaluation. Now, let's move on to the next thing, and so evaluating getting the reports from functionaries. And to start with, let's start with the timer. Xavier, can you give us a timing report for tonight's meeting?
Absolutely. Great news. Everyone was on time, besides Alex, who was at 3:31, but I'm going to say it was a rounding error on my part, and he totally stopped on time. So congrats, everyone, for being on time.
Thank you, Xavier. And let's move on to the R counter report. Preetham, can you give us the R counter report?
Starting with the speakers, Ruchi had just one filler word and Bhakti had no filler words, but her phone made some filler sounds. Destin 1R. Table topics, Sam, you had 3 ands. Hadija, no filler words. I obviously did not count mine. Hassan, no filler words. Alex had no filler words, but its internet gave us a lot of filler words. Mingshu, you had 3 filler words also. Back to you, Sridhar.
Thank you, Preetham. Let's move on to our third report. It's a grammarian report. So Christine, can you please give us a grammarian report?
Sure. The quotes, thoughts, words, or sayings that I liked. Ruchi, when you said, let shame overpower my fear, and never trust frog eyes. I enjoyed that as well. Bhakti, she is an enemy or we're at war. Same thing. I enjoyed that, along with don't judge a book by its cover. And Destin, I really liked your backstories, and practice makes perfect. Very true. We didn't have any other, there was no improper grammatical uses.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we are pretty much done with the evaluation section. I just have to give the feedback for how the overall meeting went tonight. And I think we did pretty good today, even after so many people had but unfortunately didn't show up for the meeting, and then a lot of our members filled up for the roles, and we are running the meeting smoothly. And just for the feedback, it's a personal feedback for myself to be more prepared and be on time for the meeting. I was late when, for some reason, my laptop was slowed down and I was forced to restart. And just one more thing is maybe if it's possible to update the agenda to be correct, so that like people like me who are evaluating or someone who is looking at the agenda online will get proper information. And that's all for me. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster, Kelly.
Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you, everyone, for participating tonight and for your roles that you took on. I will conclude the meeting with the results of the table topics section. So if we could have a drum roll or a clap or a woohoo or whatever you want to do, go for it. The winner is Sam. iPhone Sam. That was awesome. Congratulations. And that song, I'm going to be a dork, but that is totally from Karate Kid. So if you've never seen it, you should watch it. That is all for for the Toastmaster tonight. And I am going to end it by giving control over to our president, Bhakti.
I am the one. For a moment, it sounded like a critical moment happening. Great meeting tonight. I think I see a guest in our list today, Robert DJ. Could you give us some feedback about our meeting tonight?
Hi, so first of all, it's not my first time. I'm here like a couple of times. And the meeting is great, as always. I enjoyed the speech from various presenters and I learned a lot of stuff. That's the purpose of it. So I think it might be time to be committed to this as well, like Japan, like you guys. Woohoo! Since then, I've been forwarded the mails by asking the meeting, so I don't know, maybe you can join the mailing list or something.
Thank you, Robert. So today was the first meeting after we saw Ajita's presentation, and Hassan was acting as our Zoom master and he followed all the rules. So good job on that, Hassan. So we'll be continuing our meeting with an additional role called the Zoom master, and who will be responsible for managing everything related to Zoom. And as I was giving my speech today, an idea popped in my head. So back in the days when we used to have our physical meeting, some speakers were very particular about their filler words, and we used to have a clicker if there was a filler word found in the speech. Not every speaker used to use this feature, but some speaker who are very particular about filler words would use a clicker. So the idea is that if anyone wants to volunteer and are very particular with their filler words, we can be creative as Xavier was today and use a sound that resembles the clicker so that as you're speaking, you're aware that you're using a speaker, not a speaker word, a filler word. So how does that idea sound? Great. So the next time you volunteer to be a speaker, let Hassan also know that if you need a clicker sound for your speech, so that this clap master will be ready with this sound before the meeting. With that, we have the area contest this Saturday. So I want to wish all the participants best of luck. And with that, I would like to conclude the meeting. If you're interested in speaking or picking up some roles, please talk to Hassan. And if you want to be a member in the club, I'll just drop the website where you can contact us and we'll provide you the information on how you can become a member. And with that, I conclude the meeting. Thank you everyone for joining.
Let's go!
There is one request for anybody who's available on Saturday. The area contest is happening February 27th, 9 a.m. And the area director has requested me to ask our club members that he needs some ballot counters, sergeant at arms, timers, all those roles. So if anybody is available at Saturday at 9 a.m., it would be very much appreciated if you could volunteer your time to help the area contest happen. That's what I wanted to ask.
So I plan on being there, but I'm going to be out of town and I can't guarantee that my internet's going to be that great. So I don't know that he should count on me for a role, but I will be there. So I can be a backup person maybe.
Okay. I already volunteered to be ballot counter.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and having this wonderful meeting. We'll see you next week. Bye.